Hey everyone, this is Wrecker, back with another build. So, the one that I'm sharing with you guys today is an insanely good Oxidizer Skill Build. This is something I put together quite recently, and so I thought, why not share this template with you guys in case you are looking for an effective Oxidizer build? Regardless of what difficulty content you're playing at, heroic, legendary, what have you, this setup melts enemies and performs just as good as per my testing. We're talking over 600k ticks with your oxidizer on full stacks. So yeah, this is really good. So with that being said, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's begin. Okay, so starting off with the specialization, we are of course running technician because that's the best specialization to run primarily when it comes to any skill builds. Most of the time, it's gonna give us +1 skill tier. Then we have 12% damage to drones, skill boxes, and robotics. That's really handy when it comes to fighting legendary Black Disc. We have the EMP grenade, that's very helpful, and of course the Artificer Hive. Yes, we are running it as one of our skills. That's really important to have. So that's one of the perks that we are getting from this specialization. And lastly, make sure you have the right weapon archetype damage slotted in depending on what weapons you're running. For me, that's an assault rifle and a shotgun, so that's what we have here. Okay, so starting off with the weapons, I'm using primarily the capacitor. Of course, this is the best assault rifle in slot when it comes to gaining skill damage and weapon damage at the same time, so I would highly recommend running this for this setup especially. It comes with assault rifle damage, damage to armor, and 9.5% health damage. Now the middle one, damage to armor 12%. This is really important because by only equipping this weapon in your hand, not even without shooting it, you will gain damage output to your oxidizer ticks. So this is really important. So the talent that it comes with, it's called capacitance. Shooting an enemy builds stacks up to 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks decay 1 per second. So basically what's happening is it's gonna give you 60% skill damage on full stacks. But not only that, it says for each skill tier, gain 7.5% weapon damage. So since we are on 6 skill tiers, it's gonna give you 45% weapon damage. So this is a really good talent to have on any of the exotic talents that I have. So I would highly recommend running this for this setup. For the secondary, that doesn't really matter. I am personally running a KST shotgun fully maxed out in case I need to use it, but that's just personal preference. You can run what you have. So for the sidearm, as always, I'm running my TDI card custom. I do run this in mostly all of my skill builds because of the talent that it comes with. Future Perfect, it's gonna give me overcharge if I get a kill from this pistol. Since we are at skill tier 6, we're gonna get an overcharge for 15 seconds. So that's really good talent to have. So you don't have to run this pistol, you can run any pistol that you have, but I would highly recommend running this talent on it so you can gain overcharge every 90 seconds. So that's really good. Okay, so starting off with the gear pieces, we are running 3-piece Empress International. The first piece gets us 10% skill health, the second piece gets us 10% skill damage, and the third piece gets us 10% skill efficiency. So every yellow attribute that you see in the game, that's what skill efficiency gets you. As for the attributes, we're running skill damage, skill haste. That's the whole theme for the entire build. You have to stack skill damage and skill haste on the entire setup because oxidizer ticks do not count as status effects, so don't get confused with that, even though it does act as a bleed effect because it does ticks down the health or armor of your enemies down to 0, just like bleed would, but still it doesn't count as status effects. So only stack skill damage and skill haste on this build, and once you're satisfied with the attributes that you have, especially for skill haste, for me that's 100%. Anything over it is just a waste of attributes. So once that's done, you should start stacking up into skill duration because that does apply to our oxidizer cloud duration, which I will tell you more about when I show you the stats for the chem launcher. But anyhow, the talent that I have chosen to come with is glass cannon. because with this one, as per my testing, is going to give you the most amount of damage output with your Oxidizer. You can use other talents as per your preference, but for me, this setup, this is the best one we should go for. So as you might have noticed already, along with the 3-piece, we are using the chest piece for the Empress International. So this is what I have. The second piece we are running for the same brand set is the mask. Same attributes, skill damage, skill haste, and I have slotted in a 12% skill haste mod in there. And lastly, same thing for the gloves. Empress International, skill damage, skill haste, but for this one I have changed the core attribute to armor since we are already at skill tier 6 due to the extra skill tier we're getting from the technician specialization. That's why I have changed the core attribute for this one to armor. So in case you were wondering. Okay, so for the backpack, I'm running a Wyvern backpack. The brand bonus gets us 10% skill damage. Same attributes, skill tier, skill damage, skill haste, and then I have a skill duration mod in there. The talent that I'm running is called Tech Support. Skill kills increase total skill damage by 25% for 25 seconds. Now, there is an alternative to use, and that's the perfect version of this talent, but you will be losing the brand bonus because it does come with repair skills, and that isn't really helping us out in this setup. So that's why I've chosen to go with Wyvern, because we are getting a really good brand bonus, but also the same amount of skill damage from the talent. The only difference between this one and the perfect variant is that you get plus 2 seconds of additional duration, which really isn't really matter because this talent doesn't have any cooldown. So as long as you're getting kills with your skills, this will keep refreshing. So getting 2 additional seconds of duration is not going to help us at all. So I would highly recommend running a Wyvern backpack with this talent, and your build will perform just as good because it's the same damage numbers. So yeah, this is the backpack we're running. Okay, so for the holster, I'm running the exotic waveform holster. Comes with skill tier, skill damage, and skill haste. The talent that it comes with, basically it's giving you 30% skill damage to both of your skills, one at a time. So after 10 seconds, it's gonna keep switching that 30% skill damage to either one of your skills. So for me personally, I know that I'm not running 2 damage skills on my setup because I'm running the Oxidizer on one and the Artificer Hive on the second, and when it switches to my Artificer Hive, it's not really helping us out. But as per my testing, I have tested other brand sets to switch with this holster, and they are not giving me enough damage even if with this talent. So I tried switching out with some skill haste and other skill brand sets, but it's not getting me enough damage. I'm still getting more damage from this holster than I would with any other alternative. So I would highly recommend running this one even if you are not using a damage skill as your secondary skill, right? Because as you will see in the gameplay as well, I'm able to hit over 600k ticks with this holster, and in combination with the Artificer Hive. The Artificer Hive is really important because that's gonna boost your damage insanely good if you don't use it. So that's really important. So yeah, this is the holster I would highly recommend running in this setup. Okay, so completing the build with the last piece, I'm running the Emperor's Guard knee pads. Now this is just a personal preference. If you don't have it, because this is a unique piece to get, this is only a PvP exclusive, or if you're lucky you can get this from a named cache. But the only reason I'm running this is because I had it with the right attributes on it. As you can see, it comes with a skill tier. I have rolled skill damage on the minor attribute, and then with the brand bonus it comes with 20% skill duration. So all these attributes are helping us out with the entire setup. But if you use the normal version, if you don't have this one, that will work just as good. So instead of armor regen, you would have another minor attribute slot empty on which you can roll skill haste or skill damage depending on what you have. So don't worry about it. It's just a cherry on top. I just had it, so I had to put it in there just to get a tiny bit of armor regen on it without losing any of the yellow attributes. So I just got lucky, and that's why I'm running it. But this is not really necessary. Just run a normal Murakami knee pad and you're good to go. Okay, so starting off with the skills, I'm running the Artificer Hive. The primary reason for this is because of the damage buff I'm getting on my Oxidizer with this one. I have seen, as per my testing, at least 100k difference between running this or not running this in terms of damage. So that's a really big reason I'm running the Artificer Hive. For the mods that I'm running on it is 10% duration, 10% range, and then I've soloed in 9.9% stim efficiency. Being a skill tier 6 Artificer Hive, we're getting plus 24 charges, plus 600% charge efficiency, plus 12 seconds skill refresh, plus 60% range, plus 60% grown speed, and plus 420% health. So these are really good numbers for a fully stacked up Artificer Hive. Okay, so for our primary skill, of course, this is the skill the whole build is set up around, is the Oxidizer itself. As you see in the description here, it says Oxidizer canister releases a cloud of corrosive gas that damages enemy armor, skill proxies, and causes damage over time. Now again, as I mentioned earlier, this does not count as a status effect. So just put towards the attributes you have, towards skill damage and skill haste and skill duration, and you'll be good to go. The mods that I'm running on it is the 5% damage and 7.5% radius. So that's what's putting up with the numbers here. As you can see, we have 4.18 meters cloud radius, and cloud duration is almost 19 seconds. Now this is really important. As I said earlier, the skill duration attribute is gonna help you out with your Oxidizer. If you don't stack it into skill duration, this particular attribute here, cloud duration, it's gonna fall off. So what this means is for almost 19 seconds, the skill cloud, the chem cloud that you're gonna shoot at the enemy is gonna stay there. So if any enemies goes out of it, run back in, it's gonna still damage the enemy for 19 seconds for this game efficiency. So this is really important to keep in mind. Being a skill tier 6, we're getting plus 6 ammo, plus 12% radius, plus 120% duration, and plus 60% damage in there. So these are really good numbers for a chem launcher. Okay, so before I jump into the full overview for the entire build, let me show you the stats real quick for our Oxidizer and our Artificer Hive. We are at skill tier 6. We are sitting at 102% skill haste. Now this is really important. I could have gone even higher, but I chose not to because, as I said earlier, it's not really worth it. So anything over 100% is a waste of attribute. So just stack into skill duration after you have reached 100% skill haste on this setup. As for the ammo, we got 7, 13 second cooldown. Keep in mind, these are just base numbers. With all the buffs active, these cooldowns and buff durations will increase, right? We've got a 4.18 meters cloud radius and almost 19 seconds of cloud duration. This is really important. As a base damage number, we are getting 200k, but as I showed you in the intro and you will see in the build gameplay, you will be able to hit 600k or 500k without stacks on your Oxidizer ticks. So that's really good. Same thing for our Artificer Hive. Skill tier 6, 102 skill haste, we're getting 32 charges, 13.6 range, 336 duration, and a huge chunk of 5.1 million health on it. And as you see here, 70% buff amount, 10 second buff duration, 84% skill care, which we are really not using, but this is what we have. Okay, so this is the full build, everyone. We are using the Technician Specialization. As the primary, we are running the Capacitor. For the secondary, doesn't really matter, I'm running KSG Shotgun. For the sidearm, I'm running my TDI card custom with Future Perfect. We are using 3-piece Empress International, including the chest piece. And for the talent, I'm running Glass Cannon. For the backpack, I'm running a Wyvern backpack with the talent tech support. For the holster, we are running the exotic waveform holster. And for the knee pads, I personally am running the Emperor's Guard, but if you don't have it, don't worry, just run a simple Murakami knee pad and you're good to go. Of course, for the skills, primarily we're running the Oxidizer, and for the secondary skill, we're running the Artificer Hide. So yeah, this is the full build everyone. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I will answer them as fast as possible. And with that being said, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.